Bailey, listen to this. I think I've ended up at the same hospital you have to give birth to my baby. I was just looking through some of the pictures and things my husband was telling me about you, and it seems the place you've chosen to have your baby is where I'll be having mine as well. Can you believe that? Hello, Celia. So you're having your baby at that hospital now, too. I suppose in this region that hospital is considered the best in childcare, and with things like pregnancy and delivering babies. All of the rooms are private here and don't require you to have to share the same room with just curtains giving you some privacy. They have some of the best hospital food as well, I've heard. And they excel at taking care of you after having the baby, I hear. Bringing you whatever sweets you'd like to eat and even putting you in a massage chair when you need some help relaxing. That's what I've heard too. But of course, for all of that, it does cost a little bit more to have a baby there. I had to convince my husband into letting me have my baby there because the final bill is going to be higher than he was hoping for. Oh, is that right? Are you saying that my little brother-in-law doesn't make that much then? I can't afford to put you in a hospital like that all the time? Oh. My husband and yours are both siblings, yet they really are nothing alike, are they? When it came to my husband, he told me okay without me even having to try and convince him into giving me what I want. That does sound like your husband. And my husband makes a decent amount of money, but didn't want to spend as much on this delivery as I had asked him to. But we come to agreement, and that's why I'm going through that hospital. I don't think any pregnant wife should be expected to convince their husband into giving them what they want. I'm having to give birth to his child after all right? Any husband should be willing to give any amount of money for that. Now that you say that, I'm sure. But this is a real coincidence, right? Your baby and my baby being born just 1 week apart from another? Right? I was surprised to hear that as well. I was a bit worried about making other friends who are also mums, but having you become a mom at the same time as me is a real relief. Let's work together to become great wives and perfect mothers. I mean, us sisters are about to have our first babies, so we're bound to become best friends, right? That's right. I look forward to becoming even closer because of this. Oh, but I'm planning on having my kid go to a preschool here soon. When that time comes, I'm thinking our kids will be going to different preschools. So you're already thinking about preschool? Well, yes. Isn't it important to give a great start to your child's life? I wouldn't want my child going to a public preschool or anything like that either. The idea of that is so scary to me. Crazy kids and those problematic parents could be there, and that's a danger to myself and my child. I would much rather have my kid going to a preschool for kids that want to get a head start in life. Somewhere they will need to test into. That way my child will be much more safe and secure in the future. Have you and my brother not thought about any of that yet? I suppose we haven't really put any thought into all that yet. Right now, we're just focused on me giving birth to a happy and healthy baby is all. What? If you plan to have your kid going into a good preschool, then you need to start thinking about that all now. It's going to cost you both some money, and having your kids start to learn things now is very important for them, as they'll have a higher chance of succeeding in both school and in life. As of right now, we're really just focused on our child being both happy and healthy. I'm not sure we'll have them going to a private preschool or anything like that. Ah, so they'll go to a public school then. Well, I suppose that's good enough for you guys then. You'll be able to raise yourselves a strong and burly kid. Here, my husband is working for a very large company, and we'd like our kid to be ready for a life like that. But there's one thing I'm worried about. Something you're worried about? Are you worried about how your child's health will be when they're born? I'm sure every mother is worried about that. Oh, no! I'm a very healthy woman, so I know my kid will come out just fine. When it comes to a girl, their appearance is very important, right? That's why I'm a little concerned about whether or not the baby will have my blood or my husband's. If they have my husband's and are a girl, then I'll be a little worried. I don't like having to say this, but my husband's family is a little, I wouldn't say that the women in his family are that great looking.
I happen to think your husband's family looks pretty good.
Ah, is that right? Wow. Sorry about that. I guess you and I see things differently sometimes. I never married him for his looks or any of his family's looks, so I don't really like to think about that stuff too much. He happens to be a little on the heavy side, and his face isn't all too balanced.
Is that right? Well, no matter how your child is born, I'm sure they'll be very cute. After all, there are kids. So you'll end up loving them regardless of their looks.
I see. Of course, if they're a boy, then it's about more than just their face. But when it's a girl, their life is decided by their face and their body, right? I guess there's always plastic surgery that can help. If they end up being ugly, I'll just have to get them a little surgery.
I'm not saying I'm against giving them plastic surgery or anything, but that decision should be left up to your child on whether or not they really want to do something like that or not.
But having them do it while they're young would be the best, right? They're going to be in a lot of pictures when they're young. So if they looked beautiful from a young age, then it would be harder for people to tell that they had surgery or not.
Right. But I just feel that something like this isn't up to the parents to make a decision on. Also, a child's face will change as they grow older, right?
Well, as long as they grow into having a face less ugly than yours, that would be all right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to pick on you there. I was just trying to let you know I don't care about your opinion on this.
Is that so?
Oh, it's getting close to my lunch now, so see ya. My husband brought me a lunch specifically designed for pregnant women in the last stages of their pregnancy.
I didn't know there were lunches like that.
My husband is so nice to me that he makes sure I get the best treatment while carrying the baby. I am so happy I married a man like him. Oh, that's right. You're going to be giving birth before me, so please let me know how everything goes for you.
Will do.
We just have to put up with these big bellies a little bit longer. Let's do our best to make it through to the very end together. Bailey, you had your baby, right? I haven't heard anything from you yet, so do hurry up and tell me how the hospital was. I am having my baby next week, all right?
I'm so sorry, Celia. I've been dealing with my baby this whole time, and right now I'm giving them their milk.
What? At that hospital, you should be able to just ask someone to bring you milk and they'll get it to you, right?
When one's not feeling very well, one of the midwives will do that for you. But I happen to want to breastfeed the baby myself, so that's what I'm working on now.
Is that right? I'm most definitely going to ask a midwife to take care of all that for me. I mean, right after giving birth, I'm going to be too tired for anything else.
That's a good point. Right now, even I'm still tired from giving birth and haven't had much time to relax. But my daughter is so cute. I want to go to bed because I was so tired, but I also want to be here with her.
What?
Your daughter is cute?
You really think so?
I do.
Look, Bailey. My husband went ahead and showed me a picture of her. Honestly, she's not that cute. But I really don't think you should be going around telling everyone that you think she's cute like that.
I happen to think she's cute, though. Could you please not say things like that about her anymore?
Hey! Just because you're her mother doesn't mean you should lie about how she looks. All babies look like monkeys just after being born, but your baby looks like an old man.
Celia, you're being a little rude right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I always speak my mind about everything. I didn't mean for any of that to sound rude.
Is that so?
Oh, are you going to get upset with me? Maybe you're suffering from postpartum irritability. Come on now. You and I are both about to be mothers, so don't get upset with me. I was just being a little honest with you is all.
I don't care that that's what you were thinking. I don't think something like that was necessary to say to me.
You're really naive, Bailey. But being ugly yourself, I'm sure you're happy about that baby. It was probably pretty difficult for you to find a man to have a kid with you in the first place, right?
Celia? You're being very rude right now. I don't happen to think either myself, my husband, or my baby are ugly. If all you're wanting to do here is make fun of me, then just stop texting me.
I wanted to know how the hospital was. You were the one that never texted me about any of that, causing me to have to text you. Stop behaving like a child now. I happen to be your husband's older brother's wife, right? You're being a little too sassy for someone who's like my little sister now.
I don't think our age or relation has anything to do with this right now. The reason I'm having to behave like this is because of what you've been saying.
You're supposed to become a mother, yet you're so narrow-minded. Remember that I'm going to become a mother myself here soon as well. If you start to stress me out right now and something happens to my baby, then I'm going to blame all of that on you. Bailey, right now my husband is heading over to your house, right? Can you tell him to get his butt back here and take care of me as soon as possible when he arrives?
Will do.
Hey, I've been sending you pictures of my baby every day now, yet you never reply to any of them. Why is that? Could it be that my baby is cuter than yours and you're jealous?
I'm not jealous.
Oh, you don't have to lie about it. When you put my daughter's picture next to your daughter's picture, it's insane. Your baby is so ugly that she makes me laugh every time.
And to me, she happens to be the most cute little girl in the world.
Don't you say things like that. Why don't you have your baby get some plastic surgery? Compared to my daughter, she looks miserable. Both our kids are cousins now, so it's better that you make yours look a little better before they start to hang out together.
You should not be comparing things like that. That kid doesn't even have my blood in it anyway. So what's this about it being a cousin?
Huh? What are you going on about?
Celia, it's me. Gage.
What? You? Really? But right now I'm texting Bailey's number, right?
You are aware that I've come over to their house right now, so it's not that strange that I've been able to look at her phone, right? Bailey was telling me that she got some texts from you and asked me to come and see them.
Oh, is that right? So Bailey's the type of woman to tattle on me then. She always had such a calm demeanor, yet she's scaring me now.
She's not scaring you. Have you always been texting her terrible things like this, Celia?
I have not been sending her anything terrible.
You've been calling both Bailey and her husband ugly, right?
Well, I'm telling the truth, aren't I? Compared to our baby, the baby they ended up having is insane. If she were to start showing the world her kid, I'm sure her ugly face would be all over the internet being made fun of.
You really are such a terrible woman.
Why are you on Bailey's side right now, Gage? Our kid is cute, so who cares about her?
This is not about our kid, though, is it? And what I'm saying here, I just told you that that kid you gave birth to is not mine.
Hey, don't tell me that Bailey has been saying strange things to you now. I'm sure she's just saying things like our kid not being yours because her face is so cute, right?
You're wrong about that. The reason I'm over here at my little brother's house right now with them is to talk about how you've had a baby with someone else.
Uh-huh?
Ever since we got married, I've been suspicious about whether you've been cheating on me or not. But then you became pregnant and said it was going to be my kid, so I believed you and started to relax a little.
That's right, this is your kid. I gave birth to your baby, Gage. Why are you starting to doubt me all of a sudden now?
I'm sorry. Ever since you gave birth to that girl, I became so worried about whether or not you were telling the truth, so I had a DNA test done on her.
A DNA test? You did that?
Yes. So, you understand now what I want to say, right? Could you stop lying to me, please? I would like for us to get a divorce.
Gage, please. I do not want a divorce. I know I made a mistake by cheating on you, but I always thought that this was yours and my kid. The reason I gave birth to her was because I thought I'd be raising her with you. Please do not throw us away right now just because she was not related to you by blood.
Celia, would you stop saying that I'm throwing you both away? You were the one that threw me away right before this, right? Had that baby turned out to be mine, I was planning to forgive you for cheating on me. But she happens to be your other man's baby. I do not have to take responsibility for you and her anymore.
But while I was pregnant, you had been so kind to me. I had been looking forward to having this baby.
I was being kind to you because I thought this was going to be our baby. That's why no matter how selfish you were being the whole entire time, I was going to do my best to take great care of you. But that baby ended up looking nothing like me. And then I wondered why that baby has none of my features, and that started to make me panic.
But babies' faces will change over time, right? What were you thinking, getting a DNA test over something as petty as that?
That wasn't the only thing, though. I already said that even before you became pregnant, I was worried that you might have been cheating on me. At the time, I felt that being suspicious of you for something like that wasn't a good thing. And now, I have to say that I'm really happy for going with my gut feeling here. I was able to find all of this out before becoming attached to your baby, and that's good for me.
That is not good at all. I would have never had this baby if I'd known you wouldn't stick around to take care of us.
Celia, saying something like that is not okay. I'd think things over one more time before you say anything else like that to me.
But what you've done to me is a scam, right? I had this baby thinking you would be there to support the both of us. Saying that you don't want us anymore just because this baby isn't yours is awful.
I want to know who the truly awful person is here. You were the one saying that the kid was mine this whole time, right? And so I trusted your word. Yet, what you've done here is ridiculous.
I'm sorry. But I really did think that this girl was going to be yours. I wasn't trying to hide anything from you.
I can't do this with you anymore. And honestly, sooner or later, you and I were going to get a divorce regardless of the baby. You're not going to be able to change how I feel about you now. You go talk with that girl's real father about all this.
Hold on a second. We are not done talking here. Gage?
Celia? This is Bailey. Right now, Gage isn't doing so well mentally. Please stop talking to him from now on. We're gonna block you on this phone now. Everything that comes after this can be spoken about with his lawyer when they contact you.
Bailey, wait a minute. Hey, talk with my husband at all of this, please. I really do not want a divorce.
I don't think Gage is going to change his mind for you anymore.
You have to understand how I'm feeling right now, right? I'm being told to take care of this baby I just had on my own now. And I did only just have this baby, right?
I would never ask my husband to raise a child that I had with another man while being married to him. I would never cheat on my husband in the first place. Stop acting like you and I are the same right now just because we both became mothers. I have no idea how you feel right now because I'm not a horrible human being.
Why does any of that matter to you? Even if this kid is from another man, I still gave birth to her, right?
This is not about you being the mother of that baby or not. We all know you gave birth to her. This is about the ethics you seem to have right now, and the fact that they're so bad that none of us will agree with you on them. There is something very wrong with you, Celia, for saying things like that.
I don't want a divorce. I'm not that big of a fan of his face, but everything else about him is great for me. I don't even want to think about getting a divorce right now.
You were the one that decided to start all of this, correct?
Bailey, please, tell my husband not to block me. And before we get any lawyers involved, he should come and talk to me one more time. I would like for us to spend a little more time together with our daughter. I feel like if he got to see how cute she is, then he'd calm down and rethink all he's asking for.
Would you cut it out already with all you're saying? Nobody cares what you have to say or what you want and don't want. You already made enemies of us by calling our daughter ugly. Then you had to find out that you had a baby with another man? How much more are you going to hurt everyone around you before you're happy with yourself? The reason all of this is happening to you now is because of what you've done. It's what you deserve to have happen to you.
Please, just help my family stay together as one. I will apologize to you for calling your daughter ugly. So please, have my husband come and talk with me one more time. I want to see him.
I will not let you get near my brother-in-law. And my husband and I already know that our daughter is the cutest little girl in the world, so we don't need your empty apologies. Also, I happen to think of you as ugly, Celia. And that so-called heart that you have is the ugliest thing I've ever seen yet. After all of that, my brother-in-law Gage ended up finding himself a really reliable lawyer, and with the help of them, he was able to talk with Celia and get that divorce. For a while there, knowing that her life would be at the end after the divorce, tried her very best to avoid getting the divorce, but both of her parents knew better and yelled at her to get the divorce, or else they would never let her around them ever again. And just like that, she cried while signing all the papers for Gage and his lawyer. Following all of that, Celia could not put herself back together due to the shock of everything that had happened to her. And having been kicked out of her parents' house and no longer being able to raise her daughter, vanished from her lives for good. Right now, her parents are currently taking care of her daughter for her while she's run off. Thinking about what all has happened, I feel really bad for her daughter, but knowing the kind of monster Celia was, this outcome was far better for the baby than anyone else. In the divorce, Celia was forced to pay a settlement to Gage, and because of that was left with no money in her savings account. I really have no clue how she's living now after being kicked out of her parents' house like that, but I really hope that whatever life she's living now is full of her thinking about all the wrong she had done to her husband and family. When it comes to my husband and my daughter, she's been doing very well, and each and every day shows us just how quickly little babies can learn. We will always have friends and family of mine come over to the house to see her, and every time they tell us just how cute she is, and that's so upsetting that someone would ever say that she's ugly. I totally agree, and was never for a second going to believe any of the things that Celia was trying to call facts about her. Celia said a lot of terrible things about her, but to my husband and I, she really is the cutest little girl we've ever seen. To be honest, I like to think that Celia's eyes were both just completely useless and rotten to the core. Perhaps someday, if she's able to get enough money to afford herself a visit to the doctor's office, she can go and have those eyes checked out and see if there are any glasses that can fix them. Or maybe it's just better that she fixes the root of all these problems, her heart, and learns to be someone far more ethical than whatever monster she was trying to be. In Gage's case, after having a divorce like that one, he's now been in shock for quite a bit, but has slowly been getting back to things in his life like going into work for the full day and things like that. There are even times now where he'll come over to our house and play around with our daughter to make sure she gets all her energy out as she continues to grow. I know deep down Gage has probably gone through a lot of pain, and his heart must be very exhausted from all that's happened. But I'm hoping that over time he learns that my family will always be there for him, and that he's welcome to be around us anytime. In life, there are always going to be a lot of emotionally difficult moments like divorce, and it's very important to always keep those that are your close friends and family around for support. I think that over time, he really will begin to realize just how kind my family is, and that there's no reason for him to have to battle all of those struggles he has on his own. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Kara, you're going to come to your cousin Macy's wedding, aren't you? I saw her a few days ago with my sister, and she mentioned that she still hasn't gotten a reply to the invitation she sent out. Your aunt was worried that you're not going to make it.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I completely forgot, but I'll be there.
All right. Then make sure you send her your response as soon as possible. There's still some time until the wedding, but it's always best to respond to wedding invitations as soon as you get them so that the sender can get on with planning their wedding. That's even more so if you're going to attend. Are you going to come with Chase?
Yeah, I'll reply, Mom. I'm definitely going to be there, but I don't think Chase can make it. He says that he's got an important business trip that weekend and he can't miss it.
Oh, I didn't know that Chase's job included business trips.
Yeah, but only once in a while. It's not that often that it comes up, so it makes it even harder to say that he can't make it.
Oh, have you been pretty busy lately? I've been worried about you because you hardly ever reply to my messages. I know that you must have more important things to do, but I want to know that you're okay, you know?
No, I'm not that busy. I'm fine. I've just had a lot to do these past few weeks. It's only been a month since we moved in with Chase's parents, and there's a lot I've got to get used to. It's no big deal, but I just couldn't get round to answering your messages. I'm sorry.
Are things going well between you and his family? You can tell me anything, Kara.
No, it's nothing like that. They're all really sweet, and Chase's parents treat me like their own daughter.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. Do you think you can handle living with his entire family long term? It's not just his parents you're living with, is it? Didn't you say that his grandpa's there too? I can understand if you feel that it's a little tough because you don't have any personal space. It's not your own home, so you can't choose how you go about your day or even how you decorate the place either.
Yeah, his grandpa's here too, but he spends most of his days in bed.
He's bedridden? Does that mean he needs care? Is that why Chase's parents asked if you could move in with his family? So that they could get you to take care of him?
No, that's not it. I just meant that he spends most of the time locked away in his own room. He doesn't come out much. It's not that he's bedridden or anything. And besides, Chase and I started living with his family because we wanted to save money to build our own house. Chase was the one that suggested it, not his parents.
I think I told you this when you first mentioned that you were going to live with his family. But don't you think that that's a pretty big burden? I think they're asking too much of you. Chase doesn't have to worry about anything because it's his parents' house, and he grew up there as a child, but it must be a lot of stress for you. You've had to sacrifice a lot of freedom by moving in with his family. And you're both still newlyweds. You should be allowed to have a few years to yourselves and enjoy your honeymoon period.
Well, yeah, I get that, but we're gaining a lot from staying with them. I can't complain when we're saving money. I just gotta put up with it.
But why do you have to bear all of the trouble on your own? It sounds like Chase gains the most out of this current situation. You know that your dad and I would be happy to help you out financially if you need money for a new house. So why don't you tell Chase that it's too physically demanding to live with his parents and move back out? I get that you're saving money by not having to pay the rent, but you're paying for the bills and the groceries, aren't you? And that must cost a lot more now that it's not just the two of you.
Yeah, but it's still less than paying for the rent. And if I asked you to help us pay for our new house, then Chase and his parents would feel like they forced you into playing that hand. And Chase would feel like I didn't trust him to come up with the money. Chase is the one that said that he wanted to buy us a new home. I don't want to have to rely on you to fulfill that for him. So it's fine, really. You don't have to worry about me.
Okay, if you say so, Kara. But we've got plenty of money saved, and I can always give you a hand if you ever need anything. So make sure you talk to me if anything comes up, understood?
Yeah, thanks, Mom. Oh, I better go. I've got to go grocery shopping.
Are you buying tonight's dinner?
Yeah, there are more people to feed, so I've got to get started earlier or I won't make it in time. Shopping takes longer than it did when there was just the two of us, and it's unbelievable how quickly all the groceries disappear when there are 5 adults in the house.
It sounds like you're working really hard. Just promise me that you won't push yourself too hard, will you? It's a new town, and you're probably still getting used to Chase's family, so I wouldn't be surprised if you ended up with burnout if you don't rest up properly. Maybe you should spend a week with us to take a break when you come back from Macy's wedding in 2 months.
Yeah, that's true. I'll ask Chase if I can take a few days to stay with you and Dad while he's on his business trip. Anyway, I've really got to go. See you later, Mom.
Hello, Julie. It's been such a long time since we last spoke. This is Kara's mother, Alice. I hope you've been well.
Oh, Alice. I've been very well, thank you. How can I help you?
I was just wondering if Kara's there with you right now. I haven't been able to get in touch with her since the day before yesterday, and I was just a little worried. You probably know this, but it's her cousin's wedding next month, and there are some things I wanted to confirm with her.
Oh, well, that's a shame. Oh, you just missed her. She probably hasn't been able to let you know, but her phone broke the other day. She's just gone to the phone shop to get another one and told us that she won't be back until the evening.
Oh, so that's why she hasn't read any of my messages. That makes sense.
Yes, I'm sure she'll send you a reply once her new phone has been set up. It won't be long, so please don't worry. She's absolutely fine.
Then I guess I'll just have to wait. Thank you for letting me know. I was worried because it's taken her a lot longer to reply than it used to. Even if it takes her a while to reply, she usually reads my messages as soon as she gets them. I thought that it would be the same this time, but I noticed that she hadn't even seen what I had sent her. I'm sorry for bothering you with something so silly. I must look like such an overprotective mother.
No, it's absolutely fine. You don't have to worry. There's quite a distance between our two houses, and she's been living with us for the past couple of months. I can imagine why you'd be so worried. I'd be the same if Chase had gone to live somewhere out of my reach.
How has Kara been these past few months? I hope she's managed to fit in with your family. I heard that it was her and Chase's suggestion that they move in with you. I just wondered if it didn't cause you any trouble when they suddenly launched that on you.
No, of course not. It's no trouble at all. If anything, it's been much more cheerful ever since Kara came. It's been wonderful having her here. I've been so grateful to her. My husband has been enjoying all of the meals she's made for us, too. Oh, she's got a much larger repertoire than I do, and she's made us all these traditional dishes with arrangements and twists that I would have never thought to try.
I'm so glad to hear that. I hope that you and my daughter will get along from now on, too.
Yes, I do, too. I've got so much to learn from her. We're the ones that have been saved by her taking care of the housework and the cooking, so I hope that you won't feel that she's being a nuisance on us. Far from that, we've got to work hard to make sure she doesn't feel like we're the nuisance. Oh, and I've got to thank you for the cookies you sent us the other day. They were delicious. We haven't done anything to deserve such a gift, so I was waiting for a chance to tell you how happy I was that you thought to send us some. Oh, it's terrible of me for not sending you anything in return.
No, it's the least I could do for you. I'll send some more cookies when I bake the next batch, so please just enjoy them. Just think of it as a regular treat from the Cookie Fairy.
Oh, how kind of you. Oh, if that's what you insist, then I'd be happy to call you that. Oh, I'm sorry. I've got to go and hang the washing out to dry.
Oh, I'm so sorry for bothering you at such a busy time.
No, I'm not busy at all. Oh, you just messaged me when I was daydreaming while the laundry machine was still moving, but it looks like it's finally finished. Please don't hesitate to message me if there's anything else you need.
Yes, thank you so much. I'll do that. If you'll excuse me.
Mom, I'm really sorry for not answering your messages sooner. I promise that I'll be there at Maisie's wedding tomorrow, so you don't have to worry. I know that there's a lot you wanted to talk to me about before we attended the ceremony, but I had a lot going on. I'll be back home sometime today, I promise.
Kara, are you okay? Why are you up this early in the morning? You don't know just how worried I was about you. Will you make sure you respond to my messages a little sooner from next time? You haven't answered any of my calls, and you haven't even looked at my messages.
I'm sorry.
I even messaged Chase's mother, but she only said that you were fine and that I should get a reply soon. Did you get your new phone after that? You didn't respond to any of the messages I sent you after that, so I thought that you must have changed your number, but I didn't understand why you wouldn't let me know what it was. I was so worried that something might have happened to you. I was worried sick.
I'm sorry, Mom. I can't take it anymore. I don't have any time. I'm going to jump.
What? Wait, Kara? Wait a minute. What do you mean you're going to jump? What are you doing? Please, stop and think about what you're doing. There's still a lot to do before you do something, so... Just please talk to me before you do anything. Please, don't jump.
Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. I just meant that I was going to jump from my window so that I can escape the room that I was locked into. You messaged me just when I got out on the ledge, and I couldn't take my own weight anymore. Now's my only chance to get away when everyone is asleep, and I don't want to get caught.
What? What are you talking about?
Okay, I've already jumped out.
Are you hurt? You didn't jump from very high, did you?
No, I'm good. I spent a long time in that room tying things together to make a rope, and it reached just above the living room window, but I landed on the grass, so I'm in one piece. Don't worry.
Thank goodness. You said that you were locked into a room. What did you mean by that? Was that at Chase's parents' house?
Yeah, he and his parents locked me in. Chase was after my money from the very beginning. That's why he proposed to me, to get my money.
What?
I was working as a specialist, and I was getting paid a lot for my work, remember? I even managed to get a lot of money saved before I got married to Chase. He told me that I was a perfect catch because I was so quiet and obedient. He thought that it would be easy to make me give up my debit card and bank accounts to him. It looks like he and his parents planned to make me into their slave and forced me into doing all their housework for them, too.
You're kidding. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I would have gone and picked you up and then taken you back home if you had just told me that that was how they were treating you.
It was already too late. I wanted to tell you everything, but they were watching my every move. I mean, they had me locked up in that room. They wouldn't have allowed me to get away that easily.
Well, I suppose that's true.
The last time we actually properly spoke was over 2 months ago.
When I asked you about whether you were coming to Macy's wedding? But we've sent messages a few times since then. Your replies were really short and late, but...
No, that was the last time. I couldn't use my phone when I wanted after that because they wouldn't let me. They confiscated my phone. They would let me reply when they noticed that I had gotten a message so that you wouldn't get suspicious, but they were watching over my shoulder. I couldn't type that I needed your help. That's why it took so long for me to respond to your messages. I tried running away with it once, but it was 3 versus 1. There was no way I could get away, and they beat me whenever I tried. At night, they would lock me in that room so I couldn't escape. It was like a living nightmare.
They beat you? You endured that for all these months? I'm so sorry, Kara. I'm sorry I didn't realize sooner. I should have done something.
It's not your fault, Mom. You couldn't have done anything if I was telling you that I was fine. But you really did save me from having a mental breakdown. You sent us some packages a few times, didn't you? You sent us the cookies that I really like and some of my other favorite foods. Those packages helped me realize that I had to make a move and escape before it was really too late. I couldn't have done it if I didn't believe that there was somewhere I could escape to. I did everything I could because I knew that you'd be waiting for me.
Oh, honey, you planned your escape all on your own. You must have been so scared. And you've made it out, haven't you?
Yeah, I managed to find out where they were hiding my phone a couple of days ago and sneaked it away last night before they locked me in. I prepared everything I needed to get away bit by bit during the day while I was doing the housework and hid it away in my room. I even got the courage to get my debit card back, too. I didn't want to let them have the last laugh.
I'm going to go and pick you up right now.
What? But it's still 4 a.m, and it's still so far.
Yes, but it'll take much longer for you to wait for the first train here. What are you going to do if they catch you before you get onto the train? You're not alone anymore, Kara, don't worry. You've got to rely on us. We'll save you now. You don't have to deal with them on your own ever again.
Mom, I'm so sorry.
What are you apologizing for? There's nothing to be sorry for.
But I should have listened to you. You were against me moving in with Chase's parents from the beginning, and I just told you that you were worrying too much. I didn't even stop to hear what you had to say.
No one could have anticipated that their husband's family would lock them up and treat them like a slave. I didn't even imagine anything like that. I was just worried that your mother-in-law might not be as welcoming as you hoped she would be, and might bully you for stealing her son from her. That typical sort of monster-in-law behavior. You finally gotten out of that house, so make sure you don't get caught. I want you to put plenty of distance between you and them, and hide away somewhere until we arrive.
Yeah, I will. Thank you, Mom.
I'm not going to let them get away with this. Mark my words. They're going to suffer for what they did to you.
What?
It's only natural that they pay for hurting you the way they've done. They've got another thing coming if they think that they can use my precious daughter like a slave. I want you to tell me everything that happened while you were living with them in that house. They're going to regret ever laying their dirty hands on you.
Hello, Alice. So it's been a few days since Kara went to visit you all, but I was wondering will she'll be coming back home. She didn't mention that she would be gone this long, so I've been quite worried about her. I believe that the wedding she was talking about should be over by now, and Chase is already back from his business trip.
Julie, My daughter's been staying with you ever since she got married to Chase, and we haven't seen her in all that time. I think that she deserves some rest, and I think that we deserve to spend some time with her while we have the chance. We don't have any plans for another wedding anytime soon, so we don't know when we'll next see her.
Oh, but Chase misses her so much. He went off on his business trip a few days before she left, so he's been dying to see her. They're still newlyweds, after all. We should leave the lovebirds in peace. I'd be very grateful if you could let Kara know that he's waiting for her to come home.
Oh, I don't think so. He'll just have to deal with it, because she's already home, and she's never going back to live with you people.
What?
She's come back to live with us again. Did you really think that she wouldn't tell us what happened?
I'm sorry, Alice. I don't understand what you're talking about.
That's fine. You don't have to understand. You can keep on pretending that you don't know and pretend that everything is fine. Reality will catch up to you sooner or later.
Kara sent me a message saying that she would be coming home after her cousin's wedding was over. Why aren't you letting her come back?
She just sent that to you to buy time. She was never planning on going back to your house in the first place, and we never planned on letting her. She's staying right here where it's safe. She told us how you treated her like a slave, that you beat her and locked her up at night. Did you really think that I would let her go back and stay with monsters like you?
Excuse me, we never did anything like that. Where did those accusations come from? If Kara says that's what happened, then she's lying to you.
She's lying. You think that the 20 pounds she lost while she was living with you is just a lie too? She looked like a completely different person when we went to pick her up. She was horrifically thin. She looked like she could break if we hugged her too hard. But we couldn't even do that because of the horrible bruises dotted all over her body. She was wincing in pain with every move she made. It's a miracle she had the will to run away from that room you locked her in.
Are you trying to say that we did that to her?
Then who did it? Are you going to say that she fell down some stairs? Or that she did that to herself?
I don't know. I never saw any bruises on her body. Do you really think that we're capable of doing something so vicious?
My daughter took pictures of the room you had been locking her up in. It was a storage room. There was no bed, no space to lie down in. It wasn't even clean when you put her in there. It was unbelievably unhygienic. And I've taken a look at my daughter's bank statements from the past couple of months. You've been withdrawing thousands of dollars every single month.
I don't know anything about that either. How should I know where your daughter's money went?
You're still going to play dumb?
Of course not, because I haven't done anything. You have no proof that we're responsible for what happened to your daughter. If anything, I'm shocked that you can make accusations of us being violent and accuse us of locking her away. You're even treating us like thieves by saying that we've withdrawn money using her debit card. Why should I admit to anything I haven't done? If anything, you should be worried about Kara's mental well-being if that's what she's been saying to you. Is she really okay?
You're really not going to own up to any of that? Fine. Then Chase and your husband are both fired.
What?
You can let them know that they won't have to come into the office from tomorrow onwards, and that they better start looking for jobs elsewhere, pronto.
What? What are you talking about? What does my husband and Chase's jobs have to do with Kara? Where did that come from?
Oh, didn't I tell you? The truth is, and I don't like to brag about this, hence why I didn't tell you, but I come from a rather well-off family.
What? But your husband is just a regular office worker. You wouldn't marry someone like him if you were really rich. You're just bluffing.
I'm not bluffing. He's just an office worker, but that doesn't make him any less as a person. I wouldn't marry for money, unlike some people. I married for love. I'll let you know that my father deals in property. I don't have any wealth or power of my own, so I've never spoken about what he does to other people, and I've never liked to use my connection to him, but if I'm going to be frank, he's a very powerful person. And this time, I decided to use my connection to him in order to get my revenge on you people. I didn't care what I had to do in order to ruin your lives. You deserve to suffer for what you did.
Wait, please. Oh, do you really mean that? That my husband and my son will lose their jobs?
Yes, that's right. It seems that the companies they were working for has no direct connection to my father, but he asked around and found an acquaintance who was willing to help us. My father spoke to the CEOs of both companies and had them removed from their respective positions.
Chase never told me that you were the daughter of a powerful property owner. How am I supposed to believe anything you're saying?
It's up to you to believe what you want. The only one that knows about my father's real career are my husband and my daughter. And of course my parents and my husband's parents.
But Kara told us that you and your husband don't have any money. That's why Chase asked if they could move in with us in order to save money for their own home.
That's just because Kara was doing as I told her to. Until I met my husband, there were a lot of people who tried to come close to me because they happened to find out who my father was, or tried to use me when they found out my father had a daughter. They were all just after my father's money. So I learned to not share that information to people I didn't know very well. When Kara started college, I taught her not to tell anyone who her grandpa was as well, to protect her from people like your son. Kara's a very independent girl, and she doesn't act like she's entitled to the family money just because her grandpa's rich. She decided all on her own to work for a specialist position by getting the qualifications she needed, and got a job at a company where she would never worry about money for the rest of her life. She saved away money with the intention of using it for her own future, for her own family. But we never imagined that it would be stolen away from her by the man she thought she was going to spend the rest of her life with.
That's impossible. You're lying. There's no way that's true.
I don't care whether you believe me or not. You'll see tomorrow if it's true, when your husband and your son try to enter their offices, only to be kicked out. And by the way, your house isn't private property, is it? I've already made it so that your rent will triple in 3 months' time. Good luck paying that all off.
What?
That shouldn't come as much of a surprise. I believe that you've already received a notice in the mail. Didn't you see it? Or did you refuse to believe that too?
Yes, we got something in the mail saying that just yesterday, but I just thought that it must be a mistake and didn't think much of it. Who could believe something as ridiculous as that? It said that our rent would go up by 300%. It's impossible.
But it's not a mistake. It's really going to happen. You'll all have to find jobs to pay it off before it's too late. And you get kicked out.
Do you really think that you can get away with something as tyrannical as that?
I'm afraid it seems I can. At least I can get away with it if I use that power on someone as tyrannical as you.
Wait a moment. Chase and my husband, they both got calls from their HR teams telling them that they've lost their jobs.
See, I wasn't lying to you, was I?
Alice, you've got to calm down. You should probably think about what you're doing. You don't have any proof that we did anything to your daughter. You can't do this to us.
That's true, I don't. But there's plenty of situational evidence. There's no reason for Kara to lie, and she couldn't have gotten those bruises all over her body from just falling down. You lied to me about our phone being broken, even though there was nothing wrong with it. There's plenty more where that came from.
You couldn't have done anything without your father's connections. Can you really be so proud of getting revenge like this? You should be ashamed of yourself.
Of course I'm ashamed. I'm embarrassed that I couldn't do anything to protect my daughter. But I'll do anything to get revenge for her, especially after the way she's been treated. I don't care about shame or whatever you think about me if it means that I can get back at you for what you did. I'll use my father's connections and take advantage of his power, no matter what anyone says about me.
Please, can you rethink this? Can't you talk to your father and have him reinstate my husband and son?
Will you admit what you all did to my daughter? How you treated her? It depends on that.
I admit it. Is that good enough for you? I admitted to treating her the way you said we did.
All right. Thank you for admitting it. Now that you've confessed, I'll be reporting what happened to the police, and I'll be able to tell them that you admitted to what you did.
Why? Why would you do that? I told you the truth. I confessed. That's what you asked me to do in return for getting their jobs back.
When did I say that I would forgive you if you told me the truth? I only agreed to rethinking about it, and I thought about it, but decided that I would tell the police.
Alice, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to hurt Kara. None of us did. We were just desperate, that's all. My husband's father is living with us and he needs full-time care, but we don't have the time or the money. We just wanted to borrow some money, I swear. That's why we took some money from Kara's account. We really had no choice. It's not like we used her money on buying ourselves clothes and designer bags. I don't think you can blame us. We were desperate.
You don't have any right to decide whether your reasons for stealing her money were righteous or not. And even if you were desperate, that doesn't give you the right to raise your hand against my daughter and lock her into that disgusting room.
Oh, we'll apologize to Kara properly, I promise. And I'll have my son divorce her too. She won't ever have to see him ever again. So would you please have mercy on us?
Of course they're getting divorced. She's divorcing him whether you say so or not. No parent could forgive someone who hurt their own daughter, let alone have them come anywhere near her ever again. Marriage is one of the biggest steps a child takes in their life. And of course, Kara was looking forward to it just as much as we were looking forward to sending her down the aisle. And that money you stole was money my daughter worked so hard to earn and save, and planned to spend on her future. I won't ever forgive you for taking that happiness and that hope away from her. She was supposed to enjoy her married life to Chase, and they should have created a happy family together, but you took that all away from her. I will hunt you down to the ends of the earth until you all suffer the same fate as my daughter did, and feel exactly what she felt while she was locked away in that house. You better prepare yourself, Julie, because you and your family are going to regret ever hurting Kara. After that, my daughter and her husband got divorced, and I reported everything that had happened to the police. At first, they wouldn't admit to what they had done, but thanks to the statements given by their neighbors and the note we got from my daughter's doctor after we took her to the hospital, the police made their move and took Chase and his family in for questioning. It didn't take long before they were arrested, and they were ordered to pay a penalty. Not only that, during their questioning, the police found out that the three of them had been neglecting Chase's grandfather and were criticized for their treatment of him too. In the end, Chase's grandfather ended up being placed into a care home with the support of government aid. After losing their jobs, Chase and his father got into a lot of financial trouble, and just a few months after the incident, they could no longer pay the rent and had no choice but to run away to avoid the people they owed money to. Apparently, they've moved far, far away to a place in the middle of nowhere. It seems that they had been relying on money they had borrowed from loan sharks after my daughter had escaped from their clutches. So I decided to do the loan sharks a favor and update them when I found out where Chase and his family had moved to. It probably won't be long before the loan sharks catch them and force them into paying back their debts. I'm still not satisfied, and there's still a lot I want to make them suffer, but my daughter told me that she didn't want me to waste any more money or time on them. I want to respect her wishes and focus on cherishing the time I have with my family. So I've decided to put my revenge to an end and leave everything else up to karma. After her divorce, Kara had resigned and taken some time to rest up and recover. But now she's managed to get back on her feet and has found another job. She lost a lot of weight while she was with Chase, but now she's regained some of it and looks much healthier and stronger than before. Now that some time has passed, it seems that the pain and trauma has begun to fade too. But even if the pain had started to fade, it doesn't mean that she's completely recovered. My husband and I plan on supporting her as much as possible as she faces the future once more.